Let's face it, everybody loves fusions. The idea of Dragon Ball characters not only combining forces, but also combining bodies is one that's been, I would say, beloved by the Dragon Ball fandom. And actually, a few years ago, I did a full explanation of all the different kinds of fusions for Dragon Ball in depth, but this was before Dragon Ball Super and before the Dragon Ball Fusions video game, so check that video out if you haven't checked it out yet for some more insight on the secrets behind all the different kinds of fusion. But one thing that Dragon Ball Heroes has given us, not just Vegeta Blue coming back to fight Cumber in the Prison Planet arc, but the Dragon Ball Heroes games, missions, and lore have given us exclusive fusion. So on this video, I thought it'd be a good idea to show you guys and discuss the alternate Heroes fusions that really sort of revolutionized the characters of Vegeta, Goten, Trunks, Gohan, etc. Let's talk about that next. If you haven't heard the new Geekdom 101 podcast, check it out over at geekdom101.libsyn.com. New episodes drop pretty much every week over there. And if you have a long commute or a long day at work or school, check out the Geekdom 101 audio podcast. Download it to your phone, subscribe, check out new episodes covering all kinds of different stuff in the geek world, video games, anime, TV shows, movies, all kinds of topics. Go check it out, geekdom101.libsyn.com, also on Apple iTunes, Google Play. It's pretty much everywhere, but that is the hub, and I thank you for your support. The link will be down below for you to check that out too. Let's get back to the video. So I'm going to keep this video discussing Dragon Ball Heroes specifically, not Dragon Ball Fusions, because everybody can fuse in that game. We're going to talk about the Dragon Ball Heroes storyline fusions that I think are very, very interesting. And we're going to start off with one that I think a lot of people have wanted to see for years, and we never got it. And hell, these guys still don't even age in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, and I'm talking about the adult version of Gotenks, which is Gotenks Zeno or Zeno Gotenks. Now, if you don't know what Zeno means, Zeno is essentially what Dragon Ball Heroes identifies as being from a different timeline where the Time Patrollers are at. So it's basically Time Patrol Gotenks, and if you haven't watched my video on Zeno Goku Explained, you may want to watch that video first and some of the other videos in the Heroes playlist to kind of understand this a little bit more, you know, the concept behind Zeno. But anyways, this Gotenks is made up of one half GT era Goten, of course from the alternate timeline, the Zeno timeline, and this gets kind of confusing, but try to follow me here, future Trunks Zeno. So it's not present day Trunks from the Zeno timeline, it's alternate future timeline, alternate timeline Trunks. Okay, now that I rebooted my brain on that one, yeah, it's not kid Trunks grown up, it's future Trunks that makes Zeno Gotenks, and his main rival is the fusion of Hachiak and Baby, the Sifurians, Baby Hachiak. Remember, with Dragon Ball Heroes, all things are possible. Anyways, he appears in the Dark Demon Realm saga to face off against Baby Hachiak, but would return in the Mechakabura revival arc where he faces off against several of the demons that show up to assist Mechakabura, who is the main enemy of that arc. If you want me to do a whole video going into Mechakabura and the Dark Empire and all that, leave a comment down below and let me know if you want me to make that video and I'll make it for you, because I can imagine that if you don't have the proper context, this could be a bit confusing. But nonetheless, that is Zeno Gotenks. Now, we are nowhere close to being done with Trunks, but I want to cover the alternate timeline versions of the current fusions, and that is Gogeta Zeno and Vegeta Zeno, which is pretty much the alternate timeline Time Patrol versions of Goku and Vegeta doing the fusion pose or the Potaras to fuse together. Now, when it comes to Gogeta Zeno, he only appeared really to square off against Janemba Zeno. It was kind of like a rematch from Fusion Reborn, I guess you can say. And that's really just Super Saiyan Gogeta, but Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Zeno would return to battle the Dark Empire once again. Now, this is Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Zeno and Dabura. That's right, the guy who got turned to a cookie by Majin Buu, the Zeno version of him is able to clash with Gogeta 4, so that should tell you how much stronger Zeno, Demon God Dabura, is compared to the main timeline version. But that's, remember, Heroes, everybody's stronger and everybody's weaker. It just depends. Anyways, moving on, we also have the Zeno version of Vegito, and when it comes to his storyline, it sort of mirrors what they did with Gogeta and Janemba, because Vegito pretty much fights against Majin Buu, Zeno Majin Buu that is, to try to save the timelines and prevent them from being affected by the Time Breakers and their evil plot. But one of the cool things about this fight with Vegito and Buu, the Zeno versions, is that we see Vegito using the Big Bang Flash, which is, I think, the only time he ever did that move, like in an actual story. But that's not all. One of the cool things about Vegito Zeno is that he can not only go Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 3, he can use the Super Saiyan Kaioken, the same one that Goku used against Paikuhan in the Other World Tournament. There is a Heroes card where he does that move, and that's pretty freaking cool. And earlier in the summer, a few weeks ago, we found out that they're going to be doing Super Saiyan 4 Vegito Zeno, which is Zeno Goku and Zeno Vegeta from the Zeno timeline, of course, going Super Saiyan 4 and creating Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. That's coming up in the future of Heroes, so these wacky fusions are far from over. But we're not done with this video because we have more with Vegeta. For example, Vegeta fuses with Trunks, but things can get a little bit confusing because there are two fusions of Vegeta and Trunks, and one is in Heroes and one is not. Now, this is a very common mistake that many people make. So if you've messed this up, please don't be too hard on yourself because it's very common. I've made this mistake I don't know how many times, okay? So, VEGENKS, VEGENKS, that is not the Dragon Ball Heroes fusion. That is from Dragon Ball Fusions, the DS game. That's not the one I'm talking about. The one in Heroes is called Vegeks, which is VEGEKS. And that is the one that actually did stuff in Dragon Ball Heroes, specifically the manga. He first appeared to battle Demon God Towa in the Demon God Towa arc, which was many years ago in Dragon Ball Heroes, but more recently, the fusion of Vegeta and Trunks returned to battle Cell X, and I might do a whole other video on Cell X, the mutated version of Cell. And just to clarify, Vegeks is future Trunks and present Vegeta from the other timeline. So don't get confused. It's not present Trunks or kid Trunks, whatever. It's future Trunks fusing with his father. And so Vegeks teamed up with an unlikely ally, the Demon Realm Warlock known as Gravy, again a Heroes exclusive character, to defeat Cell X. But Vegeks is really strong, and it's unfortunate that we never saw the father-son fusion of Goku and Gohan. In fact, Heroes doesn't even have it. I've looked for it and I can't find it in Heroes yet. But we did see the father-son fusion of Vegeta and Trunks, so that's cool. But we're not done with Trunks, because Trunks actually does fuse with his mentor Gohan to form Gohanks. Now, there's two different versions of Gohanks, the fusion of future Gohan and future Trunks. One version is the traditional future Gohanks, which appeared not only in Dragon Ball Fusions, but also appears in Dragon Ball Heroes. Now, I'm pretty sure that the non-Japanese versions of Fusions doesn't have this character. I have to look into this, so I'm not exactly sure. I think it's a Japanese exclusive, but either way, this version of Gohanks is different from Gohanks Zeno, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, because this version more closely resembles the traditional fusions of Gogeta and Gotenks. This is not the Zeno alternates, where they wear the traditional Metamoran clothing with the vest and the sort of baggy pants. But of course, the easiest way to tell Gohanks apart from Gotenks is that Gohanks has the purple Trunks hair in the front in base form, whereas in Gotenks' case, it's on the sides. That's how you can kind of tell the difference. Plus, Gohanks has the scar over his eye that future Gohan has, so that's a cool touch by the artist who designed him. Then we have Gohanks Zeno, who is a part of the main Dragon Ball Heroes storyline, and he is really all over the manga in various different storylines. He has already appeared in a lot of the Demon Realm stuff, fighting against Lord Slug and whatnot, but recently he is set to return as he faces off against the one-star dragon, Omega Shenron, the Zeno version. And we find out in the new Dragon Ball Heroes trailer that he can indeed go Super Saiyan 3. So now we have Super Saiyan 3 Gohanks. Which is interesting because remember, future Trunks and future Gohan never did Super Saiyan 3. So just like how Gotenks figured it out, Gohanks should have too, and probably did. And I know that a lot of people who are fans of future Gohan are probably happy to see that he's still alive and kicking, at least in that timeline. and helping out the Time Patrollers fight off the Dark Empire as best they can. So that about does it for the video. As more fusions come out, I'll probably do an updated version because they always have new stuff coming. Plus, there's going to be a sequel to Dragon Ball Fusions coming out at some point, I'm sure, possibly, maybe. And if so, they could incorporate some of those fusions into Heroes because Heroes takes from everything. So, either way, I've outlined all the major ones that are in Heroes. Let me know what fusions you like the best and let me know which ones you want to see. It seems like Goku only fuses with Vegeta and, well, Mr. Satan. And I will say this, Mr. Satan and Goku's fusion, Gotan, or Goku if you're using the dub name, is a featured card in Heroes. I didn't want to talk about it in this video, but it is obviously a gag card and a weak character, but he is in the game. So that's interesting, even though it wasn't a Heroes fusion. It was kind of based on a joke from the anime. Still, it's cool that he's in there. Anyways, that about does it for the video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to y'all very soon.